Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to What You See Anime. I am your host, Peter. Last year, we asked our community to send us questions that they wanted answered, whether it was anime related or just general questions, and we had so much fun with it, we waited 15 months to do it again. Welcome to the second edition of Anime Mailbag. This episode wouldn't be possible without listeners like you, so before we jump into everything, I just want to say a special thanks to everybody who submitted their questions, and we hope to do another one of these in, say, 15 months. Who knows? Joining me today are my favorite warm-blooded co-hosts. We have Pat and Miles. Gentlemen, last year I know we were cringing, or at least Miles was cringing his way through the how to pick up baddies at a convention question. So how are we feeling about this year's questions?
I'm excited to not have to answer that question again, or anything like it. I'm notorious for not being able to have fun.
True.
And while these questions are fun, they are fun that is in my wheelhouse. So I am excited.
How about you, Pat?
I agree. I'm very excited for a lot of these questions. I think they're very, very well asked. I might even say that these are the best questions that we as a podcast have been asked this year by our community. So yeah, I'm ready. Let's lock in. Let's do it.
Let's do it. There's one question in particular that I had to sit down and really think about, and I'm really excited to hear your guys' answers. But we're gonna save that for later. That's what we call in the business a tease. But we're gonna get started with our first question coming from Tone Dog. Shout out to my con-going partner. Are there any subject matters or topics you think aren't well covered in anime that you'd like to see someone take an attempt at? Love this question. And I can start first, and then we'll go in order and we'll figure it out. I was thinking about shows that really hit me that were outside of the box when I just started my anime adventure. We have our Naruto's and everything like that we're really familiar with. But one story that really captivated me that was unique was Clannad After Story. And so I'm thinking that I think a type of story that I would love to see in anime, and there's a manga specifically for this, would just be a drama on either teenage or young adult pregnancy and how that affects the relationship. There is a manga, I believe it's called My Girlfriend's Baby or something like that, where it deals with a high school couple getting pregnant. And I think it's 8 volumes. So it's short enough where you can adapt into a full core. So I'd love to see a drama centered around young adults, maybe where that drama element could be added. And I just think Clannad After Story was just such a great anime itself and how it showed its family side with the kid and the death and everything like that. So I just think stuff like that would be awesome. Miles, how about you?
Is it also his baby, out of curiosity?
It is also his baby.
Okay.
It doesn't sound like it. I was going to say, that sounds like the most
it-
anime title ever.
Yeah, maybe Step Up Dude.
My
take some
Girlfriend's
responsibility.
Child. That's what it's called. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, so goodness. I'm gonna sort of finagle this question a little bit. So Dog, I apologize for not fully doing this, but I think anime generally, if there's something you're interested in, for the most part, something at least adjacent to that is out there. There might not be a ton of it, or if you're a fan of hockey, it might not exist at all.
True.
But there's an anime out there specifically for people suffering from OCD, and that's neat. So there's a lot of hyper sort of specific things. What I would like is for our larger genres to, or categories, maybe even more so than genres, is to have them break the mold a little bit, right? Isekais rely less on RPG elements and sort of loose harem sort of situations, and do something different with that, right? Do your teenage pregnancy but in a fantasy land or something, just some more stuff. I would think Ascension of a Bookworm, right, is something that sort of bends that a little bit. But I still think even stuff that I really like, the prevalence of tropes in anime is super high, and there's always a lot of homages and things, and it's a little hard sometimes to get away from that, because even when we think of isekai that take a more serious approach, something like a ReZero or a Grimgar, something like that, you still have this sort of magic RPG elements to it, you know? And so like when you're in a different world, it doesn't have to just be like a Tolkien derivative 4 or 12 or 72,
Yeah.
you know? So like I know that a lot of this is like how that industry works, and you want people to be comfortable with your subject matter and everything. But as anime grows, I think the ability to take these risks exists and can pay off, you know? Even something amazing like Frieren is still very safe with its
Sure.
setting and with its magic system and stuff. It does it better than a lot of things, but it's still in that sort of thing. So I guess the subject matter would be like breaking away from different conventions of these genres and exploring some of that.
I think there's like a manga specifically that like rang my bells when you mentioned that. It's called like Sex Worker in Another World, where like
Okay.
it died because it's still like the isekai thing, but it's going away from like traditional fantasy, like you said, Tolkien elements, and it's about it's like an actual drama. It's not like a
Okay.
it's not like an etchy hair. It's not isekai. It's not interspecies reviewers. It's like, you know, like you get transported into like a fantasy world, and it's like, oh, it's gonna be all sparkly and great. It's like, oh, actually, it's terrible. And I think it goes along those lines of like being taking advantage of as like a woman, even in like a parallel world type of thing.
For clarity, that's not exactly what I am looking
Yeah,
for.
no, not exactly
Okay.
that show.
Well, no, I
Going
mean,
along
like,
those
I
lines
mean,
where it's like
I mean,
outside
even
the
like,
norm.
yeah, like the vibe of that. Like, I want it to be. I don't want it to be fantasy world, but grittier. I
Sure.
want it to be more alien. Like, what if you're teleported to a world where you know people are fucking crabs or something? Like, I don't know.
Ah,
You know, it's just like if you're getting transported somewhere completely weird, why is it just medieval Europe with previous isekai Japanese influences and based on Sega PS1 RPGs or whatever?
Dragon
Like,
Quest. Yeah.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
there you go.
like
Yeah.
I like that. Don't get me wrong. It's just most of them, you know.
sure.
And I don't know if Sex Worker in Another World if they have like sex worker stats or anything, but
Yo, that
you know,
oh, I'm not gonna actually. Oh, should I make that joke? I'm not going to make that joke.
probably smart.
I'm guessing that was the correct choice. Yeah.
I'll
It's too
tell.
bad.
Yeah, join the Discord if you want to hear the joke.
I can't wait to
Yeah.
hear it now. This sounds fun.
Okay,
Yeah.
But just seeing stuff that's I guess like like actually alien or different, be it culturally or like how the sentient beings look there, or what if gravity wasn't the same there? What if you know there were flying dinosaurs? I don't know. It's just something like that.
love it.
Pat, what do you think here?
I think that's a very good answer. Very well thought out. Yeah. Like I see what you're saying too. Yeah. You just want a fantasy world to be fantasy again almost because it almost does become too grounded in reality, right? And by reality I mean like the context of, like you said, oh, it's medieval Europe. Like, okay, cool, whatever. For my answer for this question, you referenced it a little bit earlier. Like the easy answer would be like a hockey or lacrosse or like a golf anime that's actually golf. And I really focused in on the golf one too, simply because we've gotten so many of them and none of them are actually focused really on not only golf itself, but then also the skills and the differences of golf between other sports that you would say. And it feels like it would be a pretty easy one to transfer over because I think it offers a pretty unique perspective. Golf does in terms of you're playing for yourself. Sure, you might be on a team, but it's a very individual sport. Or you may have a caddy with you, but it's so individual. There's a lot of betting on yourself, like the players on tour they pay to play in every tournament. And sure, the payouts are massive if they win, but if they miss the cut, they're not playing on the weekend. And they just spent 4 grand to embarrass themselves in front of like the whole world, so to speak, right? Like there's a lot of strategy, there's styles of play that you can put in as well that I think would make a pretty good sports anime. You know, following a career of somebody or following the journey of whatever, because it's Japan, a high schooler learning how to make it to pro
Mhm.
or whatever. I think that there is a lot to do with that, but instead, not that this is always a bad thing because we got something at least fun like Birdie Wing, but it seems like all the others are just, oh, this guy's a hot shot prodigy and he can drive the ball 500 yards straight, or he can hit a banana cut that, you know, just does everything that he needs it to. So I think that's those sports anime again. It feels very formulaic. I think almost tying into Miles's answer, we haven't gotten very many unique sports anime recently, at least in the ones that I've watched, or in the sports that I want, more specifically, I should say too, because I'm sure there's been plenty of great sports anime, and I'm not a connoisseur of that type for sure either myself. So, but does that make sense? Does like the what I'm saying? Like I like golf is so individual. It's so mental too. Like I think it would translate to the themes that anime likes, the self doubt, motivation, all that stuff. I think would translate pretty well.
I think so too. Yeah, because you mentioned like the real aspects of it. Because I think the last two golf animes we gotten were Birdie Wing, which is like crazy mafia style story, and then Tonbo, which is the main character only plays with a 5-iron. So it's like it's not really covering like what golf is. It's just they happen to be playing golf with silly gimmicks. So which is funny because I'm gonna have a very similar answer for a question later this episode.
Don't forget
Pat,
Soriro Utility as well. Yeah,
That one's
that
actually
anime that
fine. I
happened.
actually don't mind that one. That one's fine, but that one's too moe for Pat. I get that.
Yeah.
i-
Sorry,
if
go
I
ahead,
were
Miles.
if I were to make you a a golf anime, I would take like the creative like writing and directing team from Ping Pong, but then get
Yes.
a more realistic art style person for you.
Yeah,
So
thank
you
you.
didn't have to be like bothered by that. And then I would have one episode being Ping Pong style for myself, but then like the rest would
You can have the flashback episode to like the character's parents dying on in a golf
yeah, okay.
course
I
related
love that. Like,
accident
yeah,
in a golf
that would be
cart. They
kind of. Yeah, okay, great. It's like whenever
yeah.
he's remembering a big shot in the past, they make it stylized, but when it's actually there, it's look at us
Look
go
at that.
compromise.
We could be the best anime makers out there. We you know, like to reference a later question. I don't know. One last thing too that I forgot to bring up: the beauty of golf too. I think like the golf courses themselves, the nature aspect. Like that's one of the best. At least one of my favorite parts of golfing is like enjoying the nature and enjoying where I am. So if you have a person touring the world, Japanese style golf courses are so different even amongst themselves, let alone a California style course, a Florida style course, a Northeast style course, European versus American. Like there's so many different styles of courses too. And I think that that would look beautiful in, because you brought up the animation. I think it would look beautiful if they animated it and gave it like a Violet Evergarden landscape almost, you know, like it would be pretty sick. I think they'd be able to dream up some pretty cool stuff. So yeah, imagine anime Tiger Woods too. Holy shit. That'd be so funny.
If we could add like a little yaoi into this golf anime, I think it'd be a
Sure.
big hit. I think it'd be a huge hit. I think it'd be a
If
big
if
hit.
that makes it happen, I'm willing to do it.
We ball.
There we go.
We ball. Okay, I think we spent enough on that question. Thank you, Tony, for that question. Next up is coming from Eagle. What shows do you recommend checking out this holiday? And what snacks or drinks do you like to indulge either during the holiday or watching these shows? Miles, you can start.
Yeah. So okay, Eagle. Um,
Listen here,
well,
Eagle.
well, it's just okay. One time, I had them for Secret Santa, and it was. I mean, I had to really work because just the amount of shows that I've been surpassed and lapped, and it just absolutely, I don't know how to answer this. Especially to that person, I do know what to say is that I will be drinking eggnog, specifically golden eggnog, and I have a bit of a problem where I can probably finish a half a gallon of golden eggnog, which is like I think several thousand
That
calories
ain't no problem. That ain't no
in
problem.
10 to 15 minutes.
Okay, that might be a problem.
Yeah. Like I have had like a gallon and a half over a day before. I love it. It's so good.
I love eggnog too. It's so do you put alcohol in that too or no?
No, I just drink the
Oh,
eggnog.
that's raw. You like it raw.
Yeah, I do raw eggnog. Like my dad will like mix it with some milk or something to like make it less rich.
Mhm.
But I'm not a coward, so
Right.
you know, oh my god, it's a lot of food or nutrients or whatever. For shows to check out this holiday season, look, I don't know.
What would you watch? So you ate a shit ton of turkey and you're sitting down on your couch and you got 30 minutes. What are you turning on?
Football.
it's 11:30 at night and you're somehow awake. What are you watching?
Okay.
Damn.
In a
You got
parallel
me there,
universe,
too.
you're still awake at 11:30. What are you watching?
Okay. Yeah.
YouTube.
Look, it's been hard out there for
A pimp? Yeah, I get it.
what is the opposite of a pimp? What is like I'm just like I'm a dad of a 3-year-old, right? Like it's
You're a dad of a 3-year-old. That's the opposite.
yeah, and like it's he'll be 3 in like a month. But I get really tired. I've been watching like 5 seasonals this time. I don't I don't know what to do. It's just like
What are you
for a show,
watching?
like
What do you like to watch?
that's what would I like to watch?
Yes.
Man, I genuinely like the thought of figuring out what to do with the small amount of free time I have is
Yeah.
daunting
It's
and
like
horrifying.
you have 15 minutes, so
is-
you spend it looking at Netflix and not actually
This is
watching
so
it.
real, by the way. This is 100% real, right? Like I get so much anxiety over the amount of media there is that I would want to watch. And then I get afraid that I'll start it and I'll not finish it and it will just never get done. And then I'll like always be in this like limbo with it. And then like I guess I have to like I'm trying to think of something that's like fun and cozy and like in the spirit of the holiday season, right?
Mhm.
And so I'll just give a very shitty answer and I'll say I'll watch the latest Sonda episode because that
Perfect.
is
That's perfect.
got
That's
there.
topical. Great answer.
We got there.
I thought about this. I'm not even kidding. I probably spent 30 minutes today thinking about this question and then just being frozen thinking about this question.
Well done, champ. Well done.
So that's where I'm at.
All right.
Okay.
It took
All
4
right,
minutes, but we ended up on Sonda and eggnog. How about you, Pat?
I would say I took this in a little different way, more in like what I've watched that I would like other people to watch more or be able to talk to people more with. And then also I tried to stay in theme. There's really not a lot of like Christmas only anime. There's episodes like, oh, Toradora has one. There's got to be
Like
more.
Tokyo
Vivi, doesn't Vivi
Godfathers
have one?
might be like the most Christmassy anime, and
That's
even
what
then,
I-
it's not
yeah.
really. I mean, it is about Christmas, but not really.
That was my final like cheap answer that I was gonna throw out there was for sure Tokyo Godfathers. If you haven't watched it, it is a good holiday movie, and it's one that I think if you're watching with family, you could watch too without it being too anime. For us for the normal folks, quote unquote. So I'd say I said Dororo because I think that is the easily like the most slept on show that's come out in like the last like 10 years. I feel like I haven't seen a lot of people talking about it. A lot of us watched it or are watching it from part of our obligations that we did for our
Shark Tank.
what did we
Shark
even
Tank.
Shark Tank. That's what it was. Yes, I loved that show so much, and I want more
One of my
people to
more
talk.
ambitious ideas.
Yeah, one of our best ideas, one might say too. Yeah, it worked so well. But yeah, I really do think that's underrated. I think I also went Zombieland Saga, another one of my favorites in the last 5 or 10 years, especially since surely we're getting that movie soon, right? Right? So it's perfect time to watch it and then be able to go watch the movie in theaters when it comes out. So, and I think it's also like the vibes too are pretty good in that show, especially compared to Dororo. So that might make you happier because you're in the happy mood for the holiday season. As for my snacks, Miles had it right. Eggnog for sure around this time. A lot of beer still. Reese's Christmas trees and pizza rolls. Those are
Nice.
my main things I eat probably in like a loungy. I'm putting a show on because it's the holiday break kind
Yep.
of vibe.
Good
What about you,
answer,
Pete?
good answer.
Really quick shout
you.
out to Holiday Creamy Vanilla Coke. Very good.
Hey, if you're
Ashley
listening, Coke,
has been drinking that for 2 weeks and has been like, this is the best Coke I've ever had.
Shout out to Ashley because I agree 100%.
She likes the sugar-free version more than the non-sugar.
Oh, like this
version.
one?
There you go. Yeah, she says it tastes more vanilla-y than the sugar-filled one, which I guess makes sense because I don't know. Yeah, cool story.
Cool
Shout
story,
out
bro.
creamy vanilla Coke.
There's actually a bunch of sugar in this. We just can't digest it.
Got
That's
Perfect.
Science, baby.
So my answer, when it's the holidays and you have people like either you're going over to people's houses, people coming over to your house, I think it's a great time to start corrupting the youth. So I would start recommending shows to your nieces and nephews and get them involved in the holiday spirit. So I got 2 more years before I can show my niece Sailor Moon. So I would recommend Sailor Moon if your nieces are 6 or older. Personally, so I have 2 answers for this. One, every Thanksgiving for the last 3 years, I've watched the Laid Back Camp movie after I got home from my mom's. I'm usually just super full and like kind of drunk, and it's just a great way to just lay down and relax for the rest of the day. So, Laid Back Camp movie with an old fashioned would be my Thanksgiving. And then this year, yeah, and then for the holidays for Christmas, I'm going to Vegas. So my recommendation for my Christmas is Kaiji the Gambler and Cocaine.
Double Coke shout outs on
Double
this
Coke
episode.
shout outs.
Hell yeah.
We're taking sponsorships from both. Not really. Okay.
this
Can
episode
you
is
imagine?
sponsored by cocaine.
Yeah.
It's a hell
Pablo
of a drug.
Escobar, 100% pure for 100% kids. Okay.
Shout out the Sinaloa cartel.
Yeah, right. Yo,
There you
that's
go.
my favorite cartel. Okay, moving on. We gotta go quicker than this. We're okay. Trent gave us this next question, and we'll start with Pat. Pat, what has been your favorite convention, whether it's anime, gaming, or general nerd culture that you have been to? And is there one on like your bucket list, or just like something you would love to go and attend in the future?
Yeah, I'm glad I get to go first on this one because I actually had the longest answer out of all the other questions, which I thought was weird because I didn't expect to. But by the time I finished thinking about it, I did. Anime Expo is like easily the answer for me. It's the best organized. LA is the perfect city to host it. Like the way LA works, where it's hard to really describe, but just having been to cons in New York City, Toronto, Boston, all over the place, Hartford, not that that's relevant, but like having been around to different events in cities for conventions or esports events or whatever, I have to say that this is easily LA works the best for it because there's enough Ubers, there's enough living. At least there was when we went in 2021. Who knows about now? But I think it's easily the best experience as well. Culturally, it makes the most sense. There's a lot of crossover with local culture and then the anime culture as well. I don't know. I would love to go back there again. That might be my bucket list one too, just because I can't really say I would want to go to another one having experienced Anime Expo now.
It's
I
really
really don't.
good.
Like it's kind of an uncomparable experience. It really is, both in what's to do there and then also the city kind of really does become an anime con for the
Yes.
whole of the not the whole city, of course, but like there's enough going on that it feels like the convention goes beyond the center. Versus when I went to Anime NYC, for example, it's the convention center is great, cool, whatever. Not really great, but I'm gonna say it's great for
It's
to be
yeah,
nice.
it's aight.
New York just is New York, which I love New York City, but it's Manhattan. There's nothing, there's no buzz. Not quite the same buzz, I think, around. I would have said go to PAX East 10 years ago. Nowadays, really not that much. It's been chilled out and corporatized out to where even as a person going for work, I didn't enjoy it very much. I felt it felt a little less fun than I remember in like high school going and playing games. And the only one I would really want to go to that I haven't yet would I guess be Comiket, but at the
It doesn't
same
have to be just an
time,
anime convention. It could be any like nerd culture thing as well.
yeah, it missed me with all the other nerd culture stuff. Like PAX East, I guess was my answer there, but it's like that's even that I'm all good on
I
that.
thought you would want to go to like IEM Kiev or something for like a CS:GO tournament or something like
I guess
that.
yeah, I guess like those tournaments. I viewed almost like tournaments as or esports as separate from this, but I guess if that were
Yeah,
the
that's
case, then
nerd
yeah, I'd want to
culture.
go. I'd want to go to probably not Kiev right now, but I'd wanna go to
Oh, is there something happening?
I don't know. But if I had to pick, it'd be Katowice or Cologne for the CS tournaments that happen there every year. That's a good answer then. Yeah, I was gonna say Comiket, but at the same time, like I feel like the language barrier there would be very difficult to get past. Like, and then also it's also a lot of doujinshi stuff.
Yeah, you
like
don't
stuff that's
read
more
really.
Nah, so it's not really my thing, but I know that that's like the con in Japan, right? Like that's the big one. So it'd be cool, but again, how much would I get out of it by going? I don't really know. So I guess
Mhm.
yeah, if the answer then, if we're including esports, then yeah, it'd be that or go to like a league worlds at one point, go somewhere like that for sure.
Oh,
Sorry,
yeah.
I went way longer on
No,
that.
that's a
But
great answer. For me, so I have like a favorite and best in terms of cons. So my favorite convention is my local one in Minneapolis, Anime Detour, just because like all my friends are there. I'm familiar with it. It's a pretty well ran convention, and just like the location and like the being a mid sized con is just really fun. But the best convention is AX. It's like it's not even close. Especially this year, the improvements that they're doing with AX. So they opened up you were like Pat, I don't know how much you remember, but like where the Kodak Center was in like Crypto Arena, they had like
Mhm.
events there, but that area was still open to like essentially the public. And then this year they closed it for only the con. So the con itself, you were in the convention, and then you also had like an outdoor space with like restaurants, music, bars, and stuff like that. That was specific to the con, and that was such an incredible like experience that we could essentially experience LA in the con at the same time. That was just a great upgrade. So anybody who hasn't been to AX, if you like anime, you should go at least. It is the best con. You will never ever run out of things to do at AX. There's so much to do. And
Never. And there's a lot of like new reveals too and stuff
yeah,
that happened
yeah,
there
yeah.
too. Like I think that's an underrated aspect is get like I got to see the Ruby
Yep.
anime get revealed. That was sick. I never would have gotten done that on any other con. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
it's true. Like I saw, I mean, even though I don't watch the show, like I saw the world premiere of like Panty and Stocking season 2 and just stuff like that. So the funniest thing ever was the world premiere of The Summer Hikaru Died was at AX, and then it premiered on Crunchyroll the next day. It's like, wow, what a world premiere type of thing. But the one that I would love to go to, and it has to be specifically in Korea, would be the League of Legends World Championship. Just for once, I would love to experience it. I don't play it anymore, but I played it for 10 years. I played it competitively for like 6. It's been a huge part of my life, and just I would love to see Faker at least once. So that's my answer. Miles.
Yeah, so I haven't been to a lot of cons. I've specifically been to the American Chemical Society convention, but I'm not
Huge.
sure if that's quite
That's nerd
the
culture.
nerd culture. Okay,
Are there any
that
A
was
like
lot of
fun.
nerds there.
yeah, so are there any
Probably.
like Cali bro chemical engineers out there?
So when I went, we were in. Okay, fuck it, let's go. It was in Dallas.
Yeehaw.
It was my senior year, and they had like an undergrad mixer like dance thing, and that was pretty fun. This was right when Timber, technically by Pitbull, but in actuality by Kesha, um,
It was going down
had
back
came
then.
out, and so that was fun. I remember that very very fondly, and I got to go with my professor and some coworkers, and then we got to go out to like bars and stuff after and present some posters. That was fun. I've been to PAX East a couple times. Like Pat has said, like PAX is getting like slightly more corporate as time goes on, as happens to all good and innocent things. Um, but I had a ton of fun at those. When I was going, I would like to go to PAX Unplugged at some point. I
Mm.
really like tabletop games and board games and stuff. And so getting to demo like indie tabletop experiences and stuff like that, I think would be a lot of fun. Comic Cat was going to be an answer for me too, because it's a good way to get like more obscure merch and stuff for like things that I like that aren't really popular,
Yep.
right? Like you can't just like get anywhere. And then there's a period of my life where my answer would have been BlizzCon, but then 47 things happened in the span of 4 months, and I haven't played a Blizzard game since.
Yep. Garrison's
So
got released and was like, we're out.
there's
It's a good answer.
yeah, but if I could pick any con, going like back in time and going to like BlizzCon, I don't know,
Yeah, that'd be
2012 or
sick.
something
That'd
like
be
that
sick. Yeah.
would be so fucking fun. And erasing the part of my knowledge where I learned about like all the systemic abuse happening within the company, and like also how corporatized and shitty it would become, even more so than PAX Unplugged, I would say, or
And
PAX East.
you didn't you notice you said erase it from your mind instead of go back and fix it. That's very interesting.
Oh,
That says a lot
Yeah,
about you.
that's a good point. I'm sorry. I should, as when I go back in time, somehow fix the entire systemic issue of Activision Blizzard. That's a good point. I
I'm
should
just
go to
saying,
BlizzCon
it would be good for everybody if you did that. So,
and then just like write in my blog, I noticed some guy taking breast milk out of the refrigerator, and I just needed to write that down. So
that's
also there was
it's so
something called the
awful.
Cosby Suite. That's a little problematic.
Was it problematic back then, though?
It
Yeah.
was. Yeah, it was.
It
Oh, was
was.
it? Oh, was it actually? Okay. Okay, it was.
Well, admittedly, less people knew, but it was also known enough that if you you could know. The bit about Googling Bill Cosby is from like the mid 2000s. I think like it's like
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Yeah. Oh, Games Done Quick would be great too.
Oh my god,
Oh,
Games
that'd
Done
be
Quick would be
fun.
great.
I just thought of it while we were talking about other, I guess, gaming related cons, but I would love to just go there and sit there and do nothing and just be in awe of all of these speedrunners. It'd be so sick.
Yeah, Games Done Quick would be great. I watch it like every year, and I have since like Games Done Quick 3 or 4. And honestly, like I understand that it's lost some of the charm that it had, but I think it's maintained enough and matured enough because there were a lot of issues there at the beginning. That it is one of the few things I would say is like for sure maybe just a better thing to go to at this point. I know that some people thought it got too corporate, but that mostly meant they were upset that they couldn't type transphobic slurs into the chat anymore. So,
well, that and also it's a stable actual like thing too.
Yes.
It's not just relying on the backs of like similar. I hurt some people here, but like the Smash community survives off of the slave labor of the people who love it, not the actual money behind it or the money it's making. Versus now, like Games Done Quick is an actual thing that with the corporate sponsors can afford to run and also still be good and charitable. So I think that's it's actually the one example of where capitalism didn't like kill something yet. in November of 2025, just to be very clear. So we'll see soon though, right? Isn't it December?
Yeah, AGDQ 2026 is going to be in January, I believe. So we'll see soon.
Hell yeah. All right, great answers. Thank you, Trent, for that question. Up next is coming from Johnny. Johnny, if you're out there, hope you're doing well. Now that YouTubers are able to produce their own animes shown as by Gigguk, who do you think would make the best anime if they were giving time and resources? Who do you think would make the worst? So this would be interesting because I don't know if either of you really watch like anime YouTubers. So it'll be a good.
I think Gigguk would make the worst.
Oh, Bond was perfectly fine.
I'm just kidding.
The anime man would actually probably.
Oh god,
ironically.
I mean, maybe if it was a hentai, who knows? But my answer, Abyssal Shao, essentially my favorite anime YouTuber, and just like what they do with their work and how they present the stories in their videos, and that's Lines in Motion. They are absolutely my favorite YouTuber. What they do to produce their videos is just incredible. How they like cut manga panels and bring them to real life and create the storytelling is incredible. If you haven't checked out Lines in Motion, I highly recommend checking them out. The worst would be the anime men. They're essentially just like brain rot like anime dancers, and they do skits. Like they try to be like RDC World, but I personally find them like super intolerable and bad content in general. But they recently did a video a few months ago, like going over all the most influential anime from like the 70s and then like ranking them. And they gave like Windbreaker a B, and then they like gave Gundam like an F and stuff like that. So it's like, these are anime content creators that have like 8 million subs. And it's like, would you have those opinions? Look, everybody has opinions. Like Gundam and like these older shows are highly influential for a reason. There's reasons why they brought up, and just having like people like that, like not understand culture or historical reasons of why these shows are important. You can think they're bad, but there's like reasons why they're important. I kind of just like shows your character to me. So I would really not want them to make an anime if they can't understand like what came before them type of thing. So that's my answer. I don't know if you guys have answers, but Miles, if you got one, go for it.
I do. One, I have no idea who would make the worst one. But I must say I agree with you, Pete, that people who would just irrationally hate on an all-time classic like Gundam or Violet Evergarden are scum. Those are bad people who would make a bad show.
I
And
could
would,
not agree more with you, Miles. Somebody clip that. Oh, we're not streaming. This is a fuck. I'll clip it.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
So my person does a lot of anime, but they also do not anime. They do like general nerd stuff, but they have like a Junji Ito video and like a video on, that guy we like. Oh my god. He's a director and now he's
Satoshi
dead.
Kon.
And yep. So he does like Satoshi
He's
Kon
dead.
things.
Satoshi Kon.
Yeah. And just like a bunch of different things. He has like gaming videos on sort of like indie games. So like he has like an Undertale one, and then he has like a one on, oh god, what's the game? It's like it doesn't matter. Super Eye Patch Wolf.
Sure.
And so
Sounds like a fun game.
that's the name of the YouTuber.
That's the YouTuber.
And
Oh.
I'm surprised you don't
I'm
know
dumb.
that, Pat. Even I know who they are.
Oh, I've never. No, I have not.
They have like
I'll have to look them
multiple
up.
millions of
1.82. So no.
almost. As a matter of fact,
You're welcome.
you're
Pete.
wrong.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for the help, Pete. You're wrong though. Yeah.
Dumbass.
And they don't always align with my taste in anime. Like I think they think Chainsaw Man is good, right? Like, and that's not true. But and they're definitely like bigger on Akira than I was. Though that is one where I acknowledged the historical impact and looked into that. But the way that they think about things is like what I wish I did. Like how if I could have like the idealized version of myself who, came out and gave my takes and understood media at like a very granular level, and like how much media, like how you consume it matters. If it's a show, if it's a game, what medium that show is in and everything, and like how that affects things. I just think he does like a great job breaking that down. And he's also funny and he's good at like weaving a story. Like he just has a video that's an hour and 20 minutes long about Garfield, the history of Garfield, and how it's gotten really weird on the internet, right? And it's gone from just being the orange cat to like the I'm sorry, John content, which, okay. I have this poster
Great audio content.
of John Arbuckle, the Archangel, slaying the Eldritch Dragon Garfield,
Incredible.
right? So,
What the
like,
fuck, man?
yeah, I love thinking about things like that. And I think that making an anime from that perspective of looking at things and how they are they're subverted or changed or distorted over time could be very interesting, right? Like his videos on like The Simpsons, right? And how it got like memeified and how like the flanderization thing, but just over time and how it's a zombie of what it was, but it still persists because of like different factors like clips and how culture changes shows. And I think if you have such a great perspective on media, you could make something pretty cool, right?
Okay.
Like if you understand how everything affects what you make and how people consume it, it would be good. Anyways, that's my answer.
Good answer.
Good answer. Good answer. All right, yeah, I thought this was a pretty fun question, and then now that I think about it in hindsight, it's obvious it was Johnny because it brought up Giguk. But I really do think it was a good question. I also think 90% of like YouTubers and people in general would be really bad at it, like unless it included a team of writers and directors or a director really doing the job for them other than base concept. Because I think people severely underestimate how hard it is to write fiction, let alone write fiction that's animated as well, where you can't rely on actors to make a role like buzz. It's entirely on you and the writing and the storyboarding or whatever. So I think it'd be tough, but I think Alpharad would be pretty fun. He seems to like anime as well. And I think he would
in-house
do that.
animator.
Yeah, there you go. Well, he's also an animator too. Yeah, that's true. Duh. But he seems like someone that would like do it for fun. But it also feels like he'd be in the same vein as like Gigak in terms of like his interests and what he kind of anime he would produce. So I think a more fun answer for me would be Lil Karibo, like the abridged Yu-Gi-Oh! The abridged series creator. I think he'd be very fun. And then my, I guess, more niche answer would be this creator named Shar. She is a YouTube animator herself and does very cute animations. Love her art style. I think she would make a really good like kids anime or what's the woman's name, Miss Rachel or whatever, like that kind of a show, like an anime. I think that would be really fun. Ashley just ran into the room when I brought up Miss H or Miss Rachel. Miss what? Yes, Miss Rachel. Thank you. Okay, I've corrected myself. Yeah, I think that would be a really fun way for. I guess that's how I approached the question. Was like, who would actually make a good anime? I think those three would at least make something I would enjoy watching.
Love it. Really good. Thank you, Johnny, for that question. Next one coming up from Tyler. I don't know which Tyler it is. It's just Tyler. We literally have a running joke of how many Tylers we have in our Discord. So thank you, whichever Tyler did this question. And this actually might be my favorite question we've ever done. If you could only nominate one last show for Watch Club, your final all-time pick, the show has to be the potential for the best discussion ever. What would it be and why? Miles.
Yes. I was actually thinking of this recently. Like,
Me too.
were you?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I was thinking
Like,
how the last episode. What would it be?
mhm. So I was thinking like as I get busier with my life and everything, and this isn't like I'm not like announcing my departure or anything here, right? Okay, so don't get that. But I can see a world where in a couple years I just can't do this anymore,
Yeah.
right?
We're adults. It happened.
Yeah. And I mean, it's been a good run, but I was like, what would I, and this is going to be a little different, Tyler. I'm sorry. I'm not looking for the best discussion. What would I guilt my friends into watching for me is how I sort of thought about it. And so there were a few options I thought of. My meme option is forcing you all to read Human Echo. That of course would never happen. But what I think I sort of settled on was I would like to do this at some point too, after it's been enough time. And I think it might have been enough time for some of this, but I would love to go back to something that we had a great time discussing, like Perfect Blue.
I wonder if we might have the same answer.
Okay. Something like that. Like, I think it would be fun to go back and hell, do like Made in Abyss or something again, like our first one. Like, Perfect Blue is one that I was thinking of. I don't have an exact answer, but I think I would like to watch something again where we had a good episode and we all enjoyed talking about it, whether we liked the show or not, or had different takes or not. And, now, I mean, when did we start doing Watch Club? Like,
God, it's like almost 6
5
years
years?
ago.
yeah.
So
So,
we're in year 7 right now, so it's probably close to a little over 5,
yeah.
close to 6.
So, like, that's a long time for your perspective to change, to have new life experiences, to see things differently, to maybe not like, and we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but like something more or less, So I think I would like to visit something like that. Something that I don't remember perfectly, but we all enjoyed talking about or something like that. I think that's what I would want to do for a last episode.
Love it.
That's a great answer. Yeah, much more thoughtful than mine. Mine was very selfish. Like that was very group focused.
Pat's like, we're watching the
My answer-
2008 Masters.
I mean, that would be so sick. Like analyzing that tiger on that. Oh my god. No, we're gonna go with. So I said like Cowboy Bebop or Gurren Lagann. Like I thought would be fun since I could talk about that show forever. And I think that there's even if there is a lot of discourse already out there for those shows, they're still fun to talk about. I also thought Legend of the Galactic Heroes would be fun because then we'd be able to compare it to the Gundam.
That'd be a 40-hour episode.
Oh no, I know. No. So to be clear too, of course, and understanding that is the case. Well, that's why I was like Bebop and Gurren Lagann. It's so hard to nominate them just because they're No, I want to do a two core that I haven't seen.
Yep.
So
We do a
like
retirement
those,
season like Kobe or Chris Paul, right?
Yep.
Like,
yeah, that would be yeah. There we go.
The farewell tour.
Yeah.
Everything
No,
we
but like
missed.
those I think would be fun, or that would be fun because we could compare it to a lot of the shows we have watched that were clearly influenced by it, whether that is Gundam back and forth being influenced, like it's kind of like westerns and samurai movies. They're codependent on each other, but like it would be cool to see that or see how other modern anime we watched were influenced by Legend of Galactic Heroes or referenced. I think that especially the shows that we've watched to our watch club, obviously. I think Code Geass too would be pretty fun, especially because we'd have all four quadrants covered in our opinions. Like Jolene and I, like very clearly, murder is okay, and I think that would be a fun way to approach Code Geass. So I don't know. I think that those are probably my answers. I think it'd be a lot of fun to watch all those, and there's again so much to talk about with Code Geass.
Really good answer. I like that. I was kind of thinking the same thing as Miles. So I mean, still to this date, my favorite episode that we've ever done is Perfect Blue. Like straight up, it like ignited something in me where like that discussion that we had, I like fell in love with not only that property, but then just like talking with everybody and discussing it and stuff like that. Like it was to me my favorite thing that we've done to date. So I think it would have to be something along those lines where it's like a franchise or a person that we love. And I mean, doing Watch Club made me fall in love with Satoshi Kon. He's my favorite director of all time. It's not even close. So I think after some time has passed and I think we revisit the lost episode, I think we have to do Paranoia Agent
I
as
thought about that as
the
well.
last episode.
That's a
because
great.
Yeah.
for people out there who
Forgot
don't
about that.
know, we kind of did this thing where like we were covering over time like every single Satoshi Kon thing that we've done, and we did Paranoia Agent. However, I'm an idiot and I didn't do a sound check beforehand, and nobody else's audio got recorded, so it's the lost episode. So I think it would be great to end on, we all liked it to an extent, and it's a director at least I think that is I don't know, just like connected us in a way where it's like the works that he's done have been some of my favorite episodes, like Millennium Actress, Perfect Blue, Paprika, like these shows, these movies, I loved watching and I love discussing with it. So I think it to me it always seems right to do Paranoia Agent.
I think that's a good pick too.
All right.
That is a great
Um,
pick.
Shout out to Tyler for that one. Next question is from another Tyler, probably the same Tyler. I don't know. But this one's from Tyler. Do you have an old anime opinion that used to be strongly believed in, but now feel the complete opposite about? What about it made you change your mind?
I think the easy answer for me here is Shield Hero, where I enjoyed it before Miles ruined it for me.
Rooted for
Like
everybody.
for everyone, pointing out which of course
He was right.
entails him pointing out how dumb the premise was and the flawed messaging that it had and things like that. So it was more like my brain dumb or I guess our brains dumb
Mhm.
than anything else. Like I don't know, but it was a fun show. It was a fun
you
ride
don't need
when
to
it
think
was
about it
fun.
that hard, but I just always do. I always do for everything.
No,
I
and
just-
well, it's a valid thought though, where like I think now, even now, like granted, that was what was that like 6 years ago, 7 years ago? Like if I watched the show now, I would probably have very similar thoughts where I wouldn't be sitting there like, wow, Raftalia. Part of that was probably Bunny Girl Senpai's the connection
You were also
there
like
between the two shows.
19 or something. Like,
I mean, I guess, yeah, 21. That makes it a little worse, but yeah, fair enough.
I was
but
trying
yeah,
to help you out there, Pat.
You were trying to help me. I will not take that help. I will take that help and spit on it. No, but yeah. I guess that's the only answer because I feel like uh I thought I wouldn't like Haruhi, but then I loved it. So that's like a big flip flop that I did as well. I really wasn't sure going into it if I would like that show, and I ended up loving it. It's like one of my favorites, honestly, that I wish we got more of. It really is a great question, but I don't have a great answer to it. I don't think just because, and I've thought about this a lot, but like I really tend to stick to my takes, even like I really hardly ever flip entirely on something, and that includes my takes on sports or anything related to that too. I don't know. I'm a very confident person, and I believe what I'm saying. Like I think about what I'm saying too a lot, so I find it hard for me to be like, oh, I was completely wrong
Hmm.
about this, mainly because I usually try to avoid that. Which, of course, it's a matter of opinion and taste too. So that's all satire aside there too, of course. But But yeah, I don't know. I think Shield Hero is like the most obvious one, at least that happened to me. What about you, Pete?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about this question is like, do I want to do like a specific anime? Because I think Shield Hero would probably be my answer as well. But mine is more of like an opinion, I guess more of like a mindset. I kind of like interacting with anime fans and just like how we discuss it and like that opinion. Because when I started getting into this, like I was watching so much anime. And like in my head, I'm like, oh, I've watched all this anime. I have all the knowledge in the world. Like, obviously, my opinion is more valid than somebody who has watched less anime than me. And that's kind of what my mindset was like in the earlier days. And I realized sort of it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm right or not. Like, everybody views anime differently and how we consume media differently. So, like, my anime opinion, it was more of just like changing my mindset on like trying to express my opinion on shows when like other people had different opinions. So I know it's not like the answer that they were looking for, but it was more just like how I've changed in viewing anime in general and not just a specific show, but just like the overall media. Mild.
Tyler, never fear. I'm here to actually answer your question. I have a few things that have gone not even just switched, but like I've gone back and forth on at different times in like my watching career. Um I think when I was like first getting into anime, something that I really liked was how characters had like distinct categories that they fit in with like names and stuff for their personality profiles, right? Like your tsundere and stuff. And I liked seeing different takes on that. And it's like something that like would sell me on like Love is War or whatever. It's like the two tsunderes who don't want to be the one to confess sort of thing, right? And so I really liked how it sort of weaponized these things. And like one of the first anime I watched because it just like I wanted to sort of learn about the medium and like these tropes and everything was like Love Live. And so you just like have this like collection of things. But then I got like sick of stuff like that. But then like earlier last year, and I was like, I don't like these tropes. I don't like these characterizations and stuff. And then there was a period of time where I like kind of got into it again. And then I like fell back out where I was like, eh. And so I sort of like go pendulum swinging between if I like that sort of tropey
Sure.
nature of things or not. And it sort of depends. This isn't like quite anime, but like I do the same thing with like superhero media where if I want it to be like subversive or hopeful, right? Where there was a period of time like I really liked shows like The Boys or stuff like Worm, which I mean I like those things, right? But like then I sort of got sick of everything being so negative and and that's sort of like the same thing about anime where sometimes I really appreciate things like the the role filling that it does where it's comfy and you know what you're getting
Yep.
one way or the other and if that girl has pink hair she's going to be the Genki girl 99% of the time and right, like there is a comfort in that. And then sometimes I shy away from that. And I think when I watch things um really affects how much I uh like it. And it's always interesting to think of things because like I don't know if the first time I watched Konosuba was right now if I would like it as much as I do.
Sure.
Um and that's like no fault of Konosuba, but it's just like after I've consumed X amount of, and it admittedly is very funny, right? Like comparatively, but like after I've seen X amount of like quasi etchy, pseudo harem isekai things, like, you just get overwhelmed with these
Sure.
things,
Right.
and but then there are times when, like, I thought I was getting over like villainesses and like that entire concept, but we
Until
have, may I ask you for one final thing, right? Which has just been amazing.
it's cinema.
And it's cinema, and it has a lot of those tropes that I would normally get sick of, but it's been a minute enough that I can like get
Excuse
back
it.
in. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on a flip side of this is that I think something like Meibachi, which is, I think I watched that and I bet Pat suffered from the same thing on this. We had done like a string of like girl group moe shows that was really long, and it was just too much for me. It was in like by the time we got to that, which is like had elements that I really should have liked, I was just completely fatigued on that. So that's sort of my answer there, is that different tropes and genres and stuff sort of I if it's not a time loop show, I'll probably have to take a break from them at some point. It's
completely understandable. I guess I was always thinking about this like the backwards way, like a show that I liked but then hated. But now I'm thinking about like shows that maybe I thought were like average that I ended up like absolutely loving and changing my opinion on. I think Sound Euphonium for me is like the opposite. I think like the first time I watched it, I gave it like a 7, and now it's like number 60 for me all time. So I would say it's like a strong opinion because I like the show, but now like I love the show. Thank you, Tyler, for that question. Next question coming up from Don L. Shout out to Don. Been in the Discord for like 5 years. Hope you're doing well, Don. What is the first anime to make you cry? This one sticks out to me because I was devastated for 3 days. I'm not going to say who died, but I'll say the show. So if you know the show, you know what happened. And that's Gurren Lagann. That end scene was so beautiful, yet so devastating at the same time, that I kind of was just like in a loss, because this was early in my anime watching when I watched Gurren Lagann, and everything else was, I was watching like the staples, and everything is like great. Oh, the power of friendship wins again. Like, oh, who would have thought? And I watched Gurren Lagann. I'm like, oh, the power of friendship won again, but something else happens with him. Like, fuck, man. But I mean, just cemented the show in greatness. Like, Gurren Lagann is just incredible. So yeah, Gurren Lagann is the first anime to make me cry and also fuck me up for multiple days. And it's not the last. Miles.
So valid.
So, God, I hate every time this comes up because I sound like such a fucking psychopath. Okay, so I've cried exactly one time to anime, and it was in Yuri on Ice. But it's not the scene that people cry at during Yuri on Ice. It is specifically when JJ is doing his Olympic or whatever it was run, and he's fucking up, and then everyone else, like in the crowd, all his fans, like keep singing their Nickelback song that they wrote for their Canadian king.
I can change the world, JJ, just follow me. I will break the walls now, remember me.
It's yeah, and so like to me, I was really happy with what they did to that character, where he was kind of a jerk and everything, but like ultimately like not a bad person or anything, just like sort of an asshole when he played his sport, he was just like kind of cocky. But they showed that the people who supported him and loved him, he was worried that if he wasn't good at what he was doing, everyone would like abandon him. And as an Olympic level athlete myself, I feel the same pressure.
True.
But I don't know. I just thought it was so sweet and great how much everyone like still supported him despite the fact that he was like fucking it up so bad out there, and it helped him sort of change his perspective a bit. And the secret is I don't want the Victor prequel. Give me the JJ redemption arc sequel to Yuri on Ice, where he gets to fucking do his quadruple axle or whatever, and that. But yeah, it was Yuri on Ice, and it was because of King JJ. So there we are.
I remember when you explained it to me, it made so much sense, and I totally see where you're coming from. Like someone who wants, like, has just so much belief in himself to then have it shattered in that moment, and then have everyone else pick him up. I thought it's totally like, yeah, like you said, putting the pressure on yourself too to be that good, and or wanting to be the best and whatever. It's definitely very relatable when you spun it the way that you did during our Watch Club episode, which there you go.
Yes, but when you first mention that's the scene, it's a little, people are always like, that one? That was the scene?
Really? Yeah, like that? Like, no.
That one?
No, but it's totally relatable. I completely see it. For me, I tried to think about it. It's like it's probably SAO technically. A little spoiler for season 1 here for anyone who is living under a rock and hasn't seen SAO. But when Asuna sacrificed herself for Kirito, like I was only like 15, 16 years old. And I didn't really process it. And I didn't also realize that we had more seasons coming or more shows coming. So I really thought that they were gonna kill her off in that moment. I thought it was just gonna end that way and it was gonna be beautiful and poetic. And I literally wrote this out in my notes, but looking back, it's obviously not the best answer, but it's what happened.
Hey.
So that's what I have to deal with. That's the burden I carry.
Look,
It was sad. It was well done. I thought.
I'll tell you. In a world where I had watched SAO for the first time, not in a world where I knew that they were, one, in the process of fucking that entire ending up, and two, there was absolutely a 0% chance that Asuna would die, because that's just not what happens. I think that's a perfectly reasonable answer, right?
Yeah.
Because, everyone has to get baited for the first time.
True.
And, like, that was your time, That was...
It basically is, yeah. And it's too bad, because, like, and then I say there in hindsight, too, that where it's like, if I had literally even just watched that over the course of multiple days, or like not had it be literally probably my first anime, other than like Pokemon, I would have known or seen it coming a mile away that she's not actually dead. Like there's no way, right? But I had watched all 16 episodes or whatever episode that ends up happening at through the night because I was so like hooked. I was hooked right away. And it's like, so I think it was probably like 4 a.m. and my brain was like, no, like no way, like, oh, that's so beautiful, so poetic, and then it just spat up all over itself, and yeah, I guess that's my answer there.
Love it. That is a really good answer. I remember getting emotional watching SAO, but All right, next question, also from Don. I really like this question. Was an anime you would never be tired of if it was the length of something like One Piece? Mile.
Okay. Don, this isn't the answer you're looking for. I'm sorry, but I thought long and hard about this, and the answer is nothing. There is nothing. In fact, if I had this opportunity, I would ask the person who was magically going to extend a show if I could shorten One Piece. That's just to make it shorter. The only thing that I think I could possibly do something like this is if you took some sort of like massive connected universe where things are not inherently related, everything, but like can cross over, right? Like fantasy world, let's go back to our generic fantasy world, right? Where if every season a new Middle Earth anime came out and JRR was still alive and decided to write anime and was just like pumping out new stories or something like along those lines, and it didn't follow the same crew that entire time. You could revisit people occasionally if they needed to. I think I could do something like that. I don't know if that really like exists strongly enough in anime for me to want to do that with anything. Pokemon's a good answer.
Yeah, that's probably the closest thing I can think of too.
That's all I can think of that's close to that.
But it also was until like it was just Ash's story for what, like 20 years or something. Like, and I don't think Liko's gonna last that long, but she'll probably last a minute. So, who knows? But yeah, I think like to me, and I talk about this in like romance animes especially, but I think this is true for like almost anything for me. I like it when things end, and I love it when things are allowed to end. And sometimes that ending sucks, and that's okay because it ended and it's great, and we don't need to revive it. I don't need 7 more Star Wars movies that are related to the main saga, right? Like that's something, I guess, something like Star Wars Visions or whatever that thing was called, right? That's something that I could keep watching if they're doing new, unrelated sort of things. Like I like that universe or everything. But to me, like I think the perfect size for most anime is probably somewhere like 8 episodes, and none of them meet that mark. And and we have like an upper echelon of like usually I'm gonna say 24 Sometimes you can go a little longer. But I'm going to say something might be a bit controversial. There are shows that are beloved that I've watched all of, like, say, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, that I think you could just gut if you really wanted to, and it might be a little better if you took out 20 of those episodes and just made it a little more condensed. I just like things ending. And my least favorite thing is something that overstays its welcome and you just get bored of it and you never finish it because it's just been going on too long. That's my thought. Like Bunny Girl Senpai. We don't need more of that.
You almost had me saying I agree with you, and then you lost me very quickly there. No. It's ending soon, right? In its own way.
I just wanted to get a jab in, but also to me, like, there is a world where that movie is a very good ending for the series. If I didn't hate that movie so much, right? Like in a world where I liked that movie for the same reasons you guys like that movie, that's a great ending, and you don't need to like continue things from there. And that's just sort of my thought. I just like letting things rest and sleep and be.
You like finality, and I get that. I agree with you too. Most of the time, I hate it when things don't end. But you also, I think it's totally valid to feel that way. I guess like I have a very similar answer. I think I could watch Konosuba go on for a very long time, because the framework is there where as long as they keep like defeating demon lords and advancing towards the demon king, it's kind of like One Piece where it's like, who knows what the demon king really is, but we'll get there eventually. Although it seems like the show is, or the manga or light novel, whatever it is almost at its end, right? Or it's getting
been
there.
Done for a minute, I believe.
Oh, there you go. Shows you how in tune I am with that. But like that would be a show that I feel like you could make more fun enough, especially because it has the fantasy element. You could say, yeah, sure, that exists in the world now, or whatever. Like, and like you said, follow different parties as well, or things like that. My only other answer for that would be, like, I could see myself mostly enjoying a bunch of Bebop episodes with the crew, but again, there's only so many you can do like with them. Like, it really does. As much as I dislike the fact that it's still going, it kind of gives credit to One Piece for how it's still going somehow. It's impressive with the crew they have, and of course people come and go, but with the core crew they have, it is 1,000+ episodes down the line and it's still not done. Like, that's pretty, and they haven't completely run out of ideas. Not that they probably haven't recycled arcs or themes or things across different arcs, but I don't know, it's pretty impressive. So yeah, there's my dodge of an answer as well. Pete, did you
Really I want a quick date here. Konosuba ended over 5 years ago.
all right. Well, the anime is still catching up to that.
Sure is.
So that's where I'm at. So I'm curious how it ends too. I'd be very curious, but I'm not. Don't tell me. Wait for the anime. Pete, I'm sorry, I forgot. Did you answer this or no?
I did not answer it yet. So I have two answers. One is like a real story where it's like story driven world environment, the fancy elements that like One Piece has that makes it so what it is type of thing. And they would have to like change some stuff in the show, but I think something like Made in Abyss would be sick just because the environment of the world of the Abyss is so creative and fun that if there was more layers than just what they have in the show, I think you could really expand on that. But since we know how many layers there are in the Abyss, it's a little different. So it would have to be like, oh, there's actually a secret layer, and then behind that other layer, there's 100 other layers type of thing. But but like with like kind of what I would be looking for in a long running show would be things that have a bunch of different things going for it, whether it's funny, action, animation, food, slice of life, that type of stuff. So my answer, like real answer that I don't think I would get sick of, is like the currently airing Campfire Cooking, because it has everything that I like. Like it's a more focused slice of life show with an incredible cast and a really fun cast. And then not only do they do like dungeons and stuff like that you would expect in like a fantasy show, but then they also like cook with the slice of life stuff. So it kind of mixes like everything together that I really enjoy about anime. And yeah, I also think it's not good enough where I would make it my entire personality like One Piece fans do. So like I think it would be like a great happy medium for me. So I'm gonna go with Campfire Cooking in Another World for my answer.
I like that. That's a good balance.
Yeah.
1,000 episodes of anything is too much.
Yeah, I also agree.
Any single thing.
Gun to my head, if I had to pick something, I think I'd go something along those lines.
I'll take the bullet.
Okay, sounds appreciated. Thank you, Don, for that question.
Much like shows, my life does have an endpoint. So
Damn.
that's
Okay. Okay. Let's not get too real. Let's move on to our next question from Prism. Their question is, what is one genre from anime you wish there was more of? At
All right. Genre of anime I wish there's more of. I took this less genre and more of a focus on a specific type of show or thing that I want. I guess it is a genre in a way. We'll see after I finish speaking. I wish there were more historical shows that didn't have a fantasy element. So, not necessarily that there isn't like fictional involvement or like samurai moving faster than the speed of light because fuck you, why not? Or that, like stuff like that, like I guess a fantastical way, but more like using actual Japanese history and putting their own spin on it without introducing specifically like a fantasy element like supernatural or dragons or whatever, right? Like that. And um, so obviously, I probably am sounding like I'm describing Kenshin here, but like I think that that's a good example of like, oh, historical based, but still also grounded in reality and different. And it's not just a nonfiction; it's a story. It's a character that could have existed back then, but that's the kind of show I'm thinking of. And I guess my general way to describe what I'm talking about would be like, what if Tarantino made a historical anime about Oda Nobunaga? Like
Mhm.
that kind of in the same way that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Inglorious Bastards are like spins on actual US history or world history. I guess like that's what I'm looking for more of in anime where they're still based in like they're based in reality in the sense that like I don't know, Brad Pitt doesn't fly because he can. You know what I mean? Like he just it's different. It's not the real history, but it's an imagination an imaginative version of the history in a way. Does that make sense or is that a
No,
like
I get because it's still
yeah.
you still want like the element of anime in like these historical settings. So like, how do you like anime like something that I would probably think is more focused towards like live action. And so like how can you address that where you can still get a mix of both? I think that's a really good answer. But yeah, Kenshin seems like
Something, yeah.
the right something along the lines of Kenshin.
Something where like the only fantastical elements are like slight aggrandizing of like a folk hero type of thing, right? Like,
right? Yeah.
yeah,
That's
where
basically again tension, but it's like do more of that
yeah,
then without
like
it being tied to that person.
you
Yeah,
know, Davy Crockett jumping over the Mississippi, but for Japanese history, right? Like
right. Yeah.
that sort of. What do you think about like quasi historical settings, something like Apothecary Diaries, where it technically doesn't have like a time frame, but it's clearly based on like a relatively wide swath of like Chinese history, and is grounded in reality. Sort
Yeah,
of.
I
Yeah.
think that
Okay.
that's a show that I would love to watch, and I will eventually get to. But yeah, like a good example of a show like that would be Violet Evergarden. It's not actually Europe between the two great wars, but it might as well be, right? Like, I mean, you
Mm.
see what technology they have, where it and what
Yeah.
how it's progressing. Electricity's coming in, like it's like, oh, it's a made up. And also like Spy Family even does it a little bit too, where it's like, okay, it's the West versus the East, but it's like it's obviously meant to be like Germany in the Cold War, or
Yeah, yeah,
something
yeah.
along those lines, you know?
And
So
on it,
like
yeah.
that kind
What
of stuff would be fun. I would enjoy more of that in anime than like, oh, like I guess the best example I could think of is Yasuke. What the hell is that? Like
Look how they
why are there
massacred my boy.
seriously, it is that though. Like it's awful. I hated that. I hated that the second I heard it, and because it's such a cool historical figure, why did you have to change that?
Yep.
Why can't you just make a story about him? And Oda, I think I brought him up more specifically because like look up how many anime there have been made about that reference Oda Nobunaga.
Hundreds.
There have been zero that actually do his story, his rise and fall from power. There's zero that do it. I've watched plenty of real life documentaries about it, but I've never seen an anime that actually does it that sets up the Edo period. It sets up the shogunate for the next 250 years afterwards. And it's a massive era in Japanese history and like centrifying the nation. And there's no anime that do it. Like that'd be so sick, right? Like I don't know.
That'd be so sick, right?
I love
Crickets.
yeah. I love
Yeah, fair enough, but
your Spy Family example because even Anya's fantasy element, right? Her
yeah,
ESP is very Cold War coded. We were worried about that. Us and the Russians were worried about the other one developing psychics who could like read each other's minds. There's like MK Ultra bullshit
Yep.
and everything. Like, that was a real concern. That is so like, so even that little bit that you like extend out past the groundedness fits into the mythos of that era in a good way.
Mhm. That's a good answer.
Pete,
I
what
like
about you?
that.
Thank you. I'm very proud of that answer. Very well thought
Uh,
out.
my answer would be, I would say like either more niche or less popular sports slash like competitive games. So something along the lines of maybe something like Chihayafuru or March Comes In Like a Lion, like those types. I want to say preferably like high quality because we do get like niche sport anime, but a lot of times they're like fucking trash. Like, oh my god, Burning Kabaddi or whatever that show was called, where it's like indoor rugby. That show was hot ass, and I was so looking forward to it. It was like, what the hell is Kabaddi or whatever it's called, and it was really disappointing. But then watching something like March Comes In Like a Lion, where I have no experience with shogi, I thought like that show did a great representation of like the human element of playing a high level caliber either sport or game, along with like showcasing that game as well. I think like the big one, especially with like the culture that we're in with like anime and just how it's crossover, is just like the lack of like esports shows. Like we really only have
Mm.
one, and it's the King's Avatar, and I don't think people know it exists because it's a donghua and not an anime. So like I don't know. Like I know we're getting like girls don't play fighting games later, but even then I don't know how much of the focus is. I mean, I know a lot of the focus is on like the fighting games, but at the same time it's like a romance. I would love like a drama like esports show or a drama, I don't know, like real life, I don't know, a Magic the Gathering player or something like that. Like something along those lines would be awesome to showcase because it mixes with our culture so much that like why not include that in these types of shows? So that would be my answer. Miles, you're looking around, you look confused.
I'm
You're like
looking for my copies of Destroy All
destroy all
Humans that can't be
humans. Yeah.
regenerated. Yeah.
It's
Okay. Well,
gone,
I
man.
can't
It
find
got
them,
destroyed and
but
it can't be regenerated.
it can't be regenerated. It's not even a mechanic anymore. Um,
It got
it's-
exiled.
yeah, it's okay. Well, we're just gonna give up on that, and I'm going to give my answer.
Yeah.
I want more like in similar to Pat. I want more grounded mystery anime, like murder mystery, things like that. Something like Odd Taxi. I
Yeah.
say is that, but like Knives Out, but anime, right? Like Agatha Christie
I was thinking like True
style.
Detective or something like that. True Detective anime type of thing.
Yeah, like, and I think that I just want something that I can. An issue I have with shows like Death Note or Code Geass or something like that, right? Is that like the very very intelligent characters are like too big brained to like ever, and they're also magic
Yep.
to like, and I enjoyed both of those shows, but like, people are like, oh, could we, who could beat L in like our light in like some sort of like intellectual battle? And it's like, well, it doesn't fucking matter because you can just kill that person. Like, same with Lelouch. It's just like it doesn't matter if you outsmart Lelouch because if you don't, he just does that. So like someone who's like a Mao Mao type, right? But like maybe in a more modern setting, strictly like episodic, maybe like 4 or 5 episode, solving a murder, getting to know things. You could do different settings like that Haruhi arc, where they go to an island and there's a storm and then a murder happens. God, Haruhi's so good. But yeah,
Isn't
that's my
it?
thought. I just love that stuff, and I would like more of it, or good
Agreed.
horror anime.
They're
Just
really
like
good one.
any good horror anime.
I was gonna say your answer is shockingly lacking a good horror anime answer because that is the answer that you're looking for without a
Yeah,
doubt.
that's
Thank you, Prism, for that question. We got 3 more, maybe 4 more left. We'll see how much we have with time. Next one is from Ash. Shout out to Ash. He said, "What romance would you say is the most balanced in terms of story and outcome?" So I think this is gonna turn into our favorite romances. 'Cause so I have 2 answers because one's based off of the manga and the other one's the actual anime. For manga, for me, it's Insomniacs After School. I just think it's the only time I've read a story or I've read a manga or an anime where I really felt that the main characters were soulmates. Like, I just think how those 2 characters are written in Insomniacs After School is perfect. I just absolutely adore that story, and just everything that comes with it after the anime is so heartwarming, and it's like exactly what you would want in a partner for both of them. So, but for anime, for me, it's Toradora, just because it reminded me so much of my high school romance of the girl I dated for 7 years, and how the outcome of our relationship reflected what happened in Toradora was like it just to me was like it had a lot of similarities to it, and I really connected to that story. And I know Toradora is not everyone's favorite, but that is a story for me, at least. It really connected. Shut up, Miles. And you know what? We're skipping Miles. Pat, what's your? No, I'm just kidding. Miles, what's your?
Yeah, I'll go.
Um, this one's a little tough for me because my favorite romance is just like Love is War. But I don't know if that has the best balance between outcome and like the plot and everything, right? Like it admittedly is a little bit intentional, but they do drag their feet for a bit, and there's some fun play on that. But I think actually a little after that confession, it it drags a little longer. Like I like that whole Christmas arc and everything, but I think it goes maybe like a little too long. I don't know. I'm just trying to think for critique. I fucking love the show. Okay. I'm gonna do something stupid. Okay,
Do it.
you ready? This is gonna be silly. I think that for me, a show like God, I can't believe we're gonna do this.
I'm so ready for this because you're gonna steal my thunder and it's gonna be so great.
Like Bunny Girl Senpai, um, actually has like a really great balance, specifically when it comes to this romance. You have a good 4 episode arc setting up the romance between Mai and that douchebag she's dating. And after that, they do a pretty good job of maintaining that and focusing on that romance, specifically even in like that movie, right? Has like a lot to do with that and their relationship and everything. And what I think a lot of shows fail to do is after the relationship is established, if they ever get that far, they sort of have a hard time playing with like those romantic elements in a way. This is something that I think like Horimiya might struggle with like a little bit. Like they started dating and then it just sort of the rest of the show happens around them a little bit and it's like fine and fun and everything. But like I think the romance between those 2 characters is good and is good. That being said, show bad. Pat, what were you gonna say?
I will. So I was going to say a lot of that where it's like I feel like they develop in Bunny Girl Senpai. That wasn't even one of the ones I wrote down. I really didn't think I didn't really think about it that way. But like it is true that it's so balanced in the sense that it shows why they would start dating and then also continues to show why they are a good couple together. Like that's how I interpreted, I guess, balanced in this question in my head. So I said I thought Golden Time is a good example of a show that's pretty well balanced because they start dating and you're kind of like, what the hell? But then they slowly grow and bond and it starts to make more and more sense as the show goes on. And I went for a more niche pull here, but Plastic Memories kind of does the opposite where they start off very cold to each other and then it slowly warms up until the very end. And the show goes from there. So I think that those are my 2 answers, but I do think Bunny Girl Senpai is a great example of one where it makes sense that they're a couple, you know, like they clearly do like each other and enjoy each other's company. And then not only do they then get together, but continue to grow as people or as a relationship, which I agree, Miles, is never shown in anime. Like Toradora, they get together and then it's over and they don't show us anything. Like, what the hell, man? How could you like
get
that show?
yeah,
Am I
you
right?
get
High five.
you do get it sometimes. Like Sign of Affection does a pretty good job of it.
Mm.
But the anime is done, right? So it's like a little cut there. So I guess that's actually secretly a manga that does that.
Yep.
You know, Kaguya-sama gets there, but it takes forever. The clan ad, that's one.
Yeah.
It happens, but like I do agree generally that is the strong point of the show. So
I'm so proud of you coming full circle. We should have saved this question for the question 4 answers ago.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes, we
that would have
should.
been great.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Ash, for the question. Next question is from our Canadian friend Zig. He said, if you could swap any 2 anime main characters into each other's shows, who would it be and why? Pat, you're up.
This one was so hard for me to think about. I'll keep it pretty simple. I think it would be really funny to see Lena from 86 and Violet Evergarden switch places, because Violet would probably just like how would she handle Spearhead Squadron? Would she just literally treat them like pawns because she's so robotic and completely lacking empathy? I think that would be pretty interesting. And then I also think Lena losing her major, or the person that she cares about, seeing how she deals with that, and then also her being an empath for the people that she writes for, doing her job, I think would be a very, very different take on Violet Evergarden. It would almost be like the exact polar opposite from a robot learning feelings to someone learning how to manage those feelings and become more of a leaving their own feelings out of it, but letting the other person speak through their words. So I think that would be a very interesting switch, but I'm sure there are better answers out there, and I would love to hear yours, Pete.
I don't think my answer is better than yours, to be honest. I think mine was kind of a joke answer, but it was more focused on one character actually maybe earning redemption in who they are as a character. So I'm gonna swap Shinji and Rudy, and I'm gonna make Rudy get in the robot, and he's gonna have to fight for his life. And Shinji, even though he doesn't deserve it, I think it's a better life if he goes there than what he has in Hakone with his father. So I'm gonna switch those two and have Rudy really work for redemption and not what he has in Jobless Reincarnation. What about you, Miles?
You're gonna take Rudy and put him in close proximity with
Asuka, yeah,
teenage girls.
I mean, he already does it in Jobless. So it's unfortunately, yeah, but he's also gonna have to get in the robot.
Fair point. That's a fair point.
Well, actually, he couldn't get in the. You know what? It doesn't matter.
In this case, he can.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess I had a similar answer about putting Rudy and or Naofumi in some sort of post-apocalypse. I wasn't doing a redemption thing, right? I was just put him in Devilman Crybaby or something.
Yeah.
Get Miki out of there. She can live because she's a good person, and then the world just fucking ends anyway, right? Good. Cyberpunk, put him in there. But since we're not doing that,
I mean, you can do that if you want.
Well, sure, whatever. There you go. There's a quick answer. The other one that I had is swapping Isagi from Blue Lock and Hinata from Haikyuu.
Wow.
And I just think the shenanigans would be very fun in both of those scenarios. Haikyuu, does emphasize the importance of practicing for yourself and being the best you can be, but also emphasizes teamwork and having fun. Blue Lock is a semi-fascist propaganda anime that is also amazing about the ability for a single person to pull themselves up by their bootstraps and single-handedly win team sports through nothing but ruthlessness. And so I would just like to see them play in the respective things. Now, of course, in an actual Blue Lock scenario, Hinata would be defeated, kicked out very soon.
Very quick.
Not in this one. we keep him in there just to see what happens. Does he develop an ego? Does he become the monster? We'll never know.
I feel like you would become the goalie.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Probably.
He's too small to be a goalie.
He's too small for. Oh well, Messi's kind of small, but I guess you can play
Messi.
Messi is much bigger than Hinata.
Is he?
Let me look up Messi's height.
Hinata
Messi's 5'7".
Messi's very small, but he also plays a position that allows him to do that.
Hinata is 1 inch taller than Messi.
Hinata is 5. Wait, okay, I'm seeing 5'4".
I'm seeing 5'8" First year of high school grows to 5'8".
Okay, well, Google AI.
Yeah. I'm also looking
wait,
at Google AI. 5.78.
Okay, wow, we got different answers. I'm getting 162.8 centimeters.
He starts at that.
Okay, he ends at 164.2. So he grows 2 centimeters. Wow.
Like an inch.
By the time he's in his third year and a professional player, he is 5 feet 7.8 inches.
164.2 centimeters per the Haikyuu wiki is where he ends, and that is 5.4.
Man, fuck
feet,
Google
which is
AI.
Okay. Well, 5.4 feet is. For fuck's sake.
They're small.
Yeah, they're both
small.
little people.
Messi is not a goalie for a very
Exactly.
good reason. But yes. All right. We got there. Yeah.
Okay.
I think we all answered that.
Yes,
right?
yes, we did. Okay.
We did.
We got one more viewer question, and then maybe if we have time, a secret question. This one comes from Preston. He did ask who's your favorite 10 brother, but I'm not going to ask that question.
Trent.
Yeah,
Probably Trent.
Trent listens and edits the podcast. Preston does not listen to the podcast, so it's Trent. And it's not even me because Preston won't hear it, so it's fine.
No.
Okay. But Preston does ask, what anime would you love to see as a video game, and what type of game/genre do you think it fits the best? Pat.
I think a Fate visual novel or like dating sim would be pretty good.
Wait, are you being
that would
serious?
be pretty good. What?
You said a Fate
That's how it
visual
started.
novel.
I know, thank you.
Okay,
thank
we
you,
just
thank
didn't know.
Okay, I was like, you know that exists, right?
Cyberpunk open world RPG.
Yeah,
would be pretty cool too.
Tabletop RPG you could play too. That would be fun.
Yeah, that would be pretty sick. Yeah. No, but my more actual answer is, I think if the technology existed for this, a VR SAO would be so sick. Like the actual game. I don't know if you ever watched like a video of like how expensive was SAO or whatever, something like that, where it goes through how ridiculous of a project SAO would be, like $1 trillion project. If that game actually existed, it would be the most fun game to ever exist. Like even as someone who doesn't like RPGs, like it would be so sick. My answer that I think is actually kind of realistic or good, I think a Dr. Stone open world /sandbox /civilization builder strategy kind of thing, military sim would be pretty cool.
You can play like different
game,
ages.
Right?
Yeah.
Like a
and you work your way up.
Yeah,
it's like
Dr.
Civ.
Stone.
It's like Civ or mixed with XCOM,
Age of Empires
almost.
Age
of Empires. Yeah, that's a great example too. Like that, I could see that game being pretty fun, but also could see it fun as like a Minecraft game too, where it's like once you figure out how to build like Minecraft, it's almost like Dr. Stone, right? You figure out, you build a crafting table, then you get stone tools, then you enter your Bronze Age, then you start enslaving people. Like there's the what?
Yo, leave that last part out.
No, that happened in Dr. Stone. Did I miss that arc?
Kind of. He
got
tries
slaves.
He does try
right? Doesn't he want to do that?
Yeah, okay. I thought you meant our guy. Like,
Senku is just. Guess I run the world now.
I was what a character change.
Yeah, but like it's a possibility. So there you go. Like I don't know. I think that would be a lot of fun though. So those would be my answers. But I obviously I was joking about the Fate dating sim. That pretty good one though.
Well, as I say, if it's like a Civ game, Gandhi can launch nukes and civs, so I'm sure Senku can enslave nations.
Variable overflow for Senku's desire to have slavery.
Yes. So it's a major plot twist in Dr. Stone. I didn't see it coming, but some people like it. My answer, I think is like the anime already in itself already has like this class system and the world that's so open to like different levels of like fantasy elements, and you could just make like an MMO out of it. And that's just like Hunter x Hunter. Like you have like 6 different classes with Nen. And then like maybe when you like level up more, you can have like a second Nen thing, kind of like how Final Fantasy does it, where it's like you go from like Knight to Templar or something like that, something along those lines, Mage to Black Mage, something along those lines with Nen. And you can have like 2 different types. And I mean, the world is vast. You have stuff like Greed Island where there's the fantasy element of like literally going into another world within their world, but then you still have like the real life world stuff with like York New City and the Chimera. It's like the world is vast. It's there. The class system's already there. You can have like raid bosses, like Hisoka could be like a raid boss or something like that. I think that like all the elements for like either an MMO or an RP, maybe like a turnstile RPG too would work for Hunter x Hunter. Something along those lines, I think would be really fun. How about you, Miles?
I kind of wish they would make the game that they play in ping pong a game. That would be fun. So I actually had thought of Hunter x Hunter as an option, because it's got that good world building and like a magic system that you could easily convert into like classes and make skill trees for and stuff like that, right?
Mhm.
You could do sort of like an MMO type of thing. It really would lend itself to that. The other thing I thought of was Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood for like similar
Oh,
reasons,
sure.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like there's a lot of different things you could do there. You could even have like your non-magic class with like some sort of like, male tech kind of thing. But I decided to go with sort of like a more gritty, similar to Cyberpunk, maybe like LA Noir sort of style Psychopass game. Um,
Ooh, yeah, that'd be
where
sick.
yeah, so like you're in that world which is like pretty fleshed out. You don't need the world to be too expansive, but like you can stay within that city. You can really populate it, make it small-ish but very dense and solve different mysteries, use the tech and stuff they have. And then it also leaves a lot of room for like branching paths and decision makings that could like affect it. It's really like a first person narrative mystery light action type of game.
Love it. Love it. Okay, well, I think that's all the answers that we've had, or all the questions we had from submissions. So we do have one secret question left, and I think we're good on time, so we'll go with it. And actually, this is a question coming from me to you two. So my question is, if you were to visit or revisit Japan, is there a specific landmark or location you would like to visit that is specifically because of a connection to either an anime, a manga, a video game, or something along those lines?
Okay, I think I've got mine.
Okay,
I've got a couple in my head.
run it.
Yeah. Well, as the only person on the podcast who hasn't been to Japan yet, which is funny to think about, that you guys have both gone. I think Nara Deer Park would be a place on my list.
The big Nokotan fan, I get it.
Yeah. Oh well, no, I was more thinking of what's the anime where she gets like
Oh,
where they
Nishijo?
the Nichijou.
That's just a
Like
deer. That's not
I know,
Nara.
but like okay, fine, Nara Deer Park because of Nokotan.
There we go.
Chika
Good
Noko Noko
answer.
Noko no
Might
Chan
be the
Chan.
worst answer we've ever had.
No, but like I don't know, like
You
that's
want
like
to
a
burn
place
it down, right? As to
probably.
Okay.
Sure, yeah. My more real answers, I guess, like I never would have thought I'd want to go to Saga or anywhere in southern Japan near Okinawa, simply because it's just hot and like a vacation hub in a way, like and beachy. That's not really my thing, but I would love to go to Saga just to see if I can see any of the actual structures or the history that they reference in Zombieland Saga. I think it would be really fun. And I guess I've always wanted to go to Hokkaido, but specifically now I want to check out places that were from Golden Kamuy,
Sure.
that were referenced there. Kyoto would be so sick too. Simply, again, it's like Kenshin just exists there, going back and forth between Tokyo and Kyoto, but it's like there's the historic castles and buildings and things like that that I would love to visit. And I wouldn't have an interest in going to Japan without anime. So I guess that's my little cheat to that
Yeah, no, that's
question. Is that yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
sparked both of our interests to wanting to travel to Japan probably more than other countries for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. Miles?
There you go. My
Pete, what would your answer to this question?
Well, like, okay, because
We're doing
I'm
the watch club bit.
well,
We're doing the watch club bit.
I'm going in March, and so like I'm going to Hokkaido to the Big Red Farm because that's where Gold Ship and Agnes Digital are. So like I'm gonna be visiting two Uma Musumes, and like I'm specifically going to Hokkaido for that. That would sort of be my answer. And I guess in the past I've done like I went to Starry Nightclub from Bocchi the Rock. We
That's a
both
great
went
answer.
to Shirakawa for Higurashi. I went to the Your Name steps. I'm trying to think of like some other. I've done like a handful. I went to like the Seaside Park in Origairu, like where they did like their final like senior thing or whatever in season 3. Like I went to there. Like I've done like a couple landmark spots based off specifically like anime.
Yeah, so okay, I went to Japan, and the only anime pilgrimage sort of place that I went was Shirakawa Go. Higurashi is one of like my favorite things, and I loved going there. It was just really cool, and then also recognizing all of the backdrops and everything from Hig, because like the original visual novel is literally just pictures of that place that have been put through a filter because one man made it and sold it at Comic-Con, and then it blew up. So, I've seen them animated, I've seen like the actual pictures from there, but there's also like a lot of really cool like historical stuff there as well, and good food. Shout out to Pete for giving me lunch advice. Very good.
Still the best meal I've ever had in Japan.
Oh my god! Also, like, it would break your fork scale, dude, because it was so cheap and it was also so good.
Yeah,
it was like
it was incredible.
$1 for like a beef skewer that was the best beef I've ever had in my life.
Dude, that area's beef is insanely good.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. I apparently like walked by Starry and the Your Name stairs and stuff. I don't know. This is so interesting to me because I loved going to Shirakawa to see like real life Hinamizawa, but I just don't know if like I want to go to Hokkaido. Like I agree with you with that. I won't go see Gold Chip. And I don't.
Miles L. Maybe
and,
common. I don't know.
Common Miles L. Depends who you ask. And Yumeneko doesn't really have like visitable places in the same way. There is like a Western style mansion you can go in, but that's like just a house and it's a museum and you like can't go into the rooms or anything. So like I wasn't really interested in that. This is how I'm gonna answer this question. I would like to spread out where I've gone. I would like to go to see more of Osaka and more shoreline places. What's the city that's like basically Tokyo but across from Tokyo Bay?
Yokohama.
Yes, I would like to spend time in Yokohama.
Countryside Yokohama.
Yeah, as my my Japanese tutor
town
said.
Of like 400,000 people considered.
It's like the 10th largest city in the world or something. It's because what I have liked is sort of the reverse, where now when I'm watching things, I've been like, I have been there, and that is neat. And so expanding the amount of places that I can sort of relate to in these things, like, I've been to, some of the boroughs and stuff in Tokyo, but there's like more to do, like, like Shinjuku shows up a ton. So like I can recognize places like there, but like, and of course like Akihabara, which I loved and you didn't like. And I think that's just how much we care about retro electronics. That was the difference. That was
like I get it. It's the weeb mecca, but that's also a bad thing.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I just don't. It's interesting because like I think if I just walked by something, I would be like, "That's neat." Like if I walked by the lab in Steins Gate, I would be like, "That's so cool." But there's nowhere. And I think this is just a me thing with how I consume things. Because, like, I don't think anime food looks tasty, right? Like, that's a very bad take I have. And similar to that, I don't see many places in anime and think, like, I must go see this landscape or whatever.
I relate
like,
to
the
that.
the setting isn't as important to me as, like the Your Name stairs. Like, I loved that scene. I would have... I don't know. It's like, yeah, it takes place on a staircase, right? But like to me, that could be any staircase. It's just sort of like I don't connect things that way.
Well,
but
I want to see the castles, right? Like you want to see the castles, you want to see the Shinto gates, you want to see those things. It doesn't necessarily matter which ones they are in Japan, like right, like that. Is that the idea that you're saying there?
That's sort of the idea, and I just think I've hit the main one for me. Like there's one thing that like. The setting of it was very important to me. The work was very important to me. Not that like other anime aren't, but just like
your personality is Higurashi, and no other anime is your personality.
That's my big one, right? Like that's
you're definitely the good guy.
I don't like. Where would I even go for like Devilman Crybaby? Like I don't know. You know what I mean? Like
the Olympic Stadium.
Yeah. Like, is that where that takes place? Is that a real building?
Probably.
I mean, they've hosted the Olympics, but probably only the winter one.
Okay, cool.
Right?
I don't. Man, no, see, and this is what I'm getting at, right? Anyways, can I choose to say Antarctica?
No, there is not a location. Okay.
Antarctica.
Can I say Antarctica?
Yeah.
I mean, that's because that's real. I would love to visit Antarctica, and a place further from the universe, like, only strengthened that in me. So, not Japan. But well, you said Japan.
We can
so
we can revise it.
there we go. We've done it.
Woo.
Starry Nightclub.
Yeah, sorry, nightclub. Well, we got through every question, so I guess anybody out there that's listening, if you had like a favorite question, you want to answer it, let us know. Whether it's in like our YouTube comments, Spotify comments, Discord, join. Let us know. If you didn't get a question in this time and you want to do it next time, wait a year. I'm sure we'll do this again. I actually really love doing these episodes, so
They're fun.
yeah, they are fun,
are very fun.
we couldn't do this without people participating. It means it's really hard to get people engaged in things. It seems like so. Even taking a couple minutes out and giving us a question means a lot to us. So, thank you, Miles and Pat. Did you have any parting word to your adoring fan?
Bye, Mom.
That's 2 words.
I'm
Mom.
gonna go to my adoring fan right after this. So no, I think I'm good.
All right, sounds good. Well, on behalf of everybody, I want to say thank you. If you have made this far and you want to support us, best way to do so: like, comment, subscribe, leave a review on whatever platform you're watching or listening to us on. If you have excess income, you can tier 2 sub us on YouTube. It's only $500 a month, and you get priority access to chat when I stream 4 times a year. So, personally, not
It's
worth
never not
it.
funny.
But if you have money laying around, do so. Next week for Wad Club, we are doing Medalist. I can't wait to talk about that. It's gonna be a really good time. And if you don't like Inori, do not watch that episode. Otherwise, in 2 weeks, doing something. I don't know yet. We're not quite there for the next season. So we'll figure something out. I'll have something out in 2 weeks for you. So on behalf of Miles and Pat, I want to say thank you, and we will see you next time. Peace.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.